The first evidence of nuclear weaponry dates back to the infamous Manhattan Project. This was a secret program started by the United States during World War II, which aimed to use the newly discovered secrets of the atom to create a high-yield weapon. Einstein himself warned President Roosevelt about the dangers of the hydrogen bomb. However, it would not be Roosevelt who had to bear the burden of nuclear warfare, but President Truman, who was sworn in after FDR's death. On August 6, 1945, Truman ordered that the nuclear weapon named Little Boy be dropped on Hiroshima, Japan. Fat Man was then dropped on Nagasaki on August 9. This was followed by the immediate surrender of Japanese forces, essentially ending World War II. However, this did not end the threat that nuclear warfare posed to the world. For the next 4 decades, the Cold War, which began in 1962, would dominate the American zeitgeist and define multiple generations. A nuclear standoff with the Soviet Union led to numerous conflicts, the Vietnam War and the Soviet submarine crisis included. Perhaps the most notable from the nuclear perspective is the Cuban Missile Crisis. In 1962, a U.S. spy plane, the U-2, took pictures of Soviet nuke sites in the nation of Cuba. This proximity to U.S. soil initiated a 13-day crisis, which was the closest the world has ever been to nuclear annihilation. Finally, after President Kennedy promised to Khrushchev to never invade Cuba, the crisis ended with only one casualty, that of the pilot of the U-2 spy plane, which was shot down. The threat of nuclear warfare still did not leave the world, persisting through the Vietnam War up until the destruction of the Berlin Wall and the symbolic end of the Cold War. With the U.S. and Russia now on more stable terms, the world breathed a sigh of relief, and the 90s heralded an era of peace. The Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty was signed by almost every nation, with the notable exceptions of India, Pakistan, and Israel. This prevented any more buildups of nuclear weapons and called for reductions in the current arsenals. Yet still the specter of nuclear holocaust remains, as countries like Iran and North Korea push semi-secret nuclear weapons programs, and the world is forced once again to address the hideous possibility of nuclear war.